Yo guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. My name is Twister, and in today's video we're going to be looking at some potential flashback cards that have been leaked, so they're very likely to get in, because we already had Iniesta, we already had Neuer, who were also leaked. We're going to be talking about Flashback Pogba and Flashback Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We're back on FUT. This is going to be the best way for me to show you what I think is going to happen. And we're going to start off with this Flashback Pogba that is probably going to come maybe even today. If so, we'll have a video on it later today. The same goes for anything that drops tonight. We're going to have a video on it as well. We're also going to be streaming as soon as this video goes live. So make sure you go check out the stream in the link in the description. And let's get straight into it. So we're going to have a Flashback Pogba. It's going to flashback to this FIFA 16 card. This is his current card. Only 160k, and you don't see this card barely at all. Not a lot of people use him, which is quite surprising. He has already a pretty decent card. Bit of a weird pace division and all that. His defending could be higher. That would make him a great card, because you don't really want to play this guy in a card like Cam. He wants as a box-to-box midfielder. Lots of people don't play with a box-to-box midfielder. They play with two CDMs. So you would like him to have a little better defensive stats. But with this kind of card, if he got anything similar to this, he would have that defending. Because he's already so high rated, he's now an 88. He could get a very similar rating, 92, 93. We saw with Neuer and with Iniesta, they were never as high rated as their team of the year when they got flashbacked. And with David Luiz as well, I'm not sure if he got the same rating as his team of the year. He was a 90, wasn't his team of the year an 89? Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, if he gets these kind of stats, we're looking at a very expensive card. This card, when it came out, was 1.5, 1.3 mil, which is cheap for Team of the Year, but this was a completely different market. It was FIFA 16, no FUT champs. Don't think we even had SBC, we just had the draft in the game, and all that. So what I think is going to happen with this card is he's going to get good upgrade, very good card, because he's now in the Prem, he's French, he gets great links to, for example, a Team of the Year Kante. He's going to be very pricey in my opinion. To the point where I think he's going to be similar price to this Kante card when he came out, which was about a mil. I think Pogba's going to come in at about 1 million. If still a lot of people want to complete that card and the further rises, he could be going all the way to, like, let's say 1.2 mil, in my opinion. The reason I grabbed this Kante is because this is a French Premier League player again, where it's very meta. And also has some upgrade potential, so you could get to quite the level of his Team of the Year card, which is 3 million. He would never get the same shooting, for example, nor the same passing, because the plus 20 and the plus 14 boost is never going to happen on this card. Even though you can still get upgraded to like a 96 or something, which would make him a pretty mental card, which is why I think Pogba will be a very similar price, just because how popular he is, how meta he's always been with that 5-star, 4-star. I think he's going to come in at about 1.5 million for him. What kind of card is it going to be? This is going to be such an all-round card. You can play him a cam striker if you want to, because you want the 5-star skills up front. Send a mid if you're playing a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, a 4-3-3 as a box-to-box midfielder, it would be amazing. Or as a secondary CDM, I would play him. Maybe not as a lone CDM. He could play there, but he has high medium work rates, I believe. Yes, he does. So that's maybe not ideal. He does have the height for it, if you think that's necessary in this game. I personally don't think so. So again, can come in at about 1 million if he gets the card that I'm expecting him to get, which is about a 92, maybe even that 93 card that he actually got in FIFA 16's Team of the Year. Then the other card that has been rumored to get a flashback is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now moved to AC Milan in the Serie A, so he's in a better league already than he was last year. Last year, of course, he got a flashback card, 92 rated. That came in at about 200k. Now, that wasn't a flashback to his Team of the Year, I believe. I believe that was a flashback. Maybe that was a Team of the Year flashback, actually. So we could be getting a very similar card to that. I actually expect we get a little bit of a better card. I think we get something that's more similar to this Team of the Season card of last year. Maybe not quite as good, but maybe just in between. So I'm going to use this card as a comparison of how good I think he's got. Now, let's actually use the flashback. Let's use the flashback and see how meta he would be in this year's game. Last year, he was very meta because of the heading, 5-star skill moves, so you could do the, what's it called, the Alternado Cross. That was already very OP last year. He does lack a bit of stamina, which was more of an issue last year than this year. This year you can get away with a little bit lower stamina, but still has a very low stamina, even for this year's game. Now last year you would have probably put a Hunter on him just to get a pace up, maybe a Catalyst, just because you want that crossing up as well. Because as a white cam last year, he would get so many headers for you. Now he was about 220k, which was a banging value SBC even if he played for LA Galaxy. Now at AC Milan he's going to be a lot more expensive, especially if he gets an even better card than this. Then you might be looking at a very expensive card. Now one thing he does lack is agility, which is very important in this game. But then again, 5 skill moves are also quite important on this game. Force of weak foot is very, very nice. Of course, immaculate shooting. You don't want this card running around for people when he's only 200k and you compare him up to a Cristiano Ronaldo if he gets that card at AC Milan. So he might be coming in at a 700k, maybe a million. If it's a card that's more similar to this one, I think he will be over a million. I think he'd be very, very expensive. And EA will do that just to get a coin sink in. Do you guys remember this centre-back card? That was a stupid card. So if he gets a similar card to last year, I think he'll be coming close to a mil. Maybe not quite a million, because that would be crazy expensive, especially because the top big 4 cards is Ronaldo, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, I said Ronaldo. Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. They're all like under a mil, and Mbappe and Neymar are very, very cheap actually, like 600-700k. So I would, if I was a EA, I would more put them close to that price, especially if they're gonna give untradeable packs. Only thing he's gonna lack is that stamina, man. If you give this card like a engine, you would give this year maybe just to get agility and balance. And balance is also an important stat. Not as important as agility in my opinion, but then he gets immaculate shooting, great passing, great dribbling, and great pace. You might want to upgrade that shooting a bit more, so maybe you give him, I don't know, a Hawk, a Hunter, maybe even a Deadeye or Sniper. If you don't care about the pace boost, if you want to play him on 84 pace, that's fine for you. Then it could be decent, but I think he will be about 10 mil. He's of course going to link to a lot of Serie A players. Let's just say 10 mil, 1 million. Another card that is coming, most likely, is Marcelo and Rooney. If you want me to make a separate video on that, we can do that. Just quickly, Marcelo is going to be dating back to his last team of the year, most likely. I would say he's probably going to come in at a couple 100k. I would say no more than 300k because he's a left back. Of course, a great card if you get a team of the year flashback or moments. We don't know if it's moments or flashback cards. It could also be moments cards, and then they could be very, very different actually, but I would assume they're flashback cards. And then there is also Rooney. He plays in the 2nd League of England now, in Derby County. He's still English, but I would expect him not to be crazy expensive because he doesn't have the meta dribbling. And he does also not have that those meta skill moves to cover up for that dribbling. So those cards won't be too insane. So we have Pogba gonna come in at about a mil most likely. He's gonna be quality CDM. Might come today. I would expect him or Ibra, either probably one of them today and then the other one over the weekend. Just to get a coin sink in whilst the full team of the year is in packs. Which, if you guys don't know when full team of the year is in packs, we're going to open it up for saved packs. If you're interested in that, that will be on stream and on the video. So do make sure you subscribe so don't miss out on that. And that will be pretty much the end of this video. I don't think I'm going to get this over 10 minutes, so my video is not going to get good clicks, which is a bit of a shame. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, then please drop a like, subscribe to never miss any content from me, and I will be back in the next video.